Miss Kitty Live, Jamaica's hit variety show.
Nationwide 90 FM, keeping you in the know while you're on the go, wherever you are in the world. I got you covered. All you have to do is log on, listen in, and do remember to spread the word. A pleasant afternoon. If you're just finding us, thank you so much for making it Nationwide 90 FM. We broadcast on 90.3, 90.5, 90.7, and 90.9. If you are locked in on the World Wide Web, tune in to Nationwide Radio, jm.com. Miss Kitty Live, Monday to Friday, 3 until 5 o'clock. This is where you need to be. We're still inside the hour, brought to you by Digicel. Shake to win. Just say shake to win with Digicel. We're talking with Lisa Hanna this afternoon. She is the female running for the People's National Party president. She wants to be the president. She says she has what it takes. She is robust. She is resilient. She is tenacious. She has the years of experience, political involvement at different levels of the party. She has contributed to the growth and the development of the PNP, and now she wants, the delegates to entrust her as the presidential aspirant. Lisa, I'm going to play a clip for you. I want you to listen to the clip carefully, and then I pose the question.
I'm a warrior. I'm a fighter. So if somebody stepped to me, I'm going to step to them same way. Right? It's just, that is who I am. I'm a black belt karate instructor, so it's a mistake. But I've listened, and the things that I did in my early 30s, I don't do in my mid 40s. And perhaps if I knew I would get to this moment in my life of running for PNP president, maybe I would have lived my political life differently. I'm going to step to certain people a certain way. Come and say, maybe at this time I would need them.
All right. So are those your words?
That sound like my words.
All right. Was that
my voice?
Sounds like your voice. Very well. Was that clip doctored in any way? Do you know of saying that? Yeah. You recall saying those words?
It was doctored. I can't tell you if it was. I'm not sure where or who filmed it.
Yes. Well, that was you addressing some of, the persons, some of the delegates at a particular meeting. And that particular clip came out, and I remember it started trending on social media, on Twitter, and there were many persons who were of the belief or of the view that that statement revealed the quote-unquote the true Lisa, showing her in a very self-serving, opportunistic way, because she's only now coming to the delegates quote-unquote humbly because she now needs them, because she's aspiring for the leadership position. And as you said, or as the voice said, if I knew that I would be in this position now, things that I did in my 30s or persons that I stepped to, I wouldn't have stepped to them the way I did. How do you explain the clip, and can you please put the clip into context? And if it was taken out of context, could you elucidate for us?
Sure. That clip was taken out of context completely. And one of the things that I was saying in a PNP family setting, because I discussed other things about my personal life, other things that I have been through, in terms of just my life in general. And what I was saying, as somebody coming from another environment that was not a politician steeped in the culture of politics per se, that as a fighter, as somebody who is courageous, perhaps in my earlier political life, I would have sought counsel. I would have asked for a different way of solving an issue and solving a conflict, or a different way in working out a situation. So how I have matured in my political career is very, very different to when I just started out. Because when I just started out, I didn't have the mentoring. Mm-hmm. I didn't have the orientation. I was basically said, here is a seat, here is how you go through. And I had to reach out to a number of persons and ask for help. I had to rely on the elders. I had to go to comrades. I had to say, well, how would you do this? Natalie and I are sisters and friends, because Natalie, as a counselor for 9 years, would have been steeped in some of the traditions, in the ways of how to, maneuver certain things. Mm-hmm. And she actually gave me tremendous advice and helped me greatly.
Yes, but do you
And
see
so-
though, Lisa, how the content of the clip could be misconstrued or taken in the way that it was like, okay, so in my 30s, you know what,
know,
guys,
let me
I
just put
never,
that-
I
finished
never,
answering
one
it,
second,
so-
I
Sure.
never thought I was gonna be running for PNP president. And guys, now that I'm running, I'm sorry, and I'm begging you guys to vote for me, and I'm here at your mercy. And God
No,
know,
I
if I
don't
didn't
think
know
we
that
could-
I
no,
was
but
gonna
you see,
run,
that
I
is
would
how you
have
guys-
not treated you in the way that I treated you.
That is how you guys have had.
No, not you guys, not you guys. Just what was in the
finish.
space. Yes.
Miss Kitty, let me finish, because one of the things that the delegates will tell you, this is not the first time I have come to them. I've come to them several times on behalf of other leaders, Comrade Portia Simpson Miller, Comrade Peter Phillips. When I was running for vice president, I've worked with them in every by-election. I've walked in every seat, essentially. So it is not as if they don't know me. But it's try and suggest that I'm at their mercy and begging is not true.
Right. Well, I'm not suggesting that you're begging. Persons, as I said, on social media and in other spaces, were interpreting or positing and posturing that they got that from the clip. And that is why I wanted you to clarify. Let's try her back. Let's try to get her back. She's actually driving. So maybe the signal dropped. We're talking to Lisa Hanna. Played a clip for her that went viral. And I, wanted to get a direct, answer from her as to how a person should interpret, because we want to go to the source. She is seeking to be elected as the president of the People's National Party. She has a wealth of political experience under her black belt. Under her belt, she has been doing so for many years. She is a 4-term MP. She has weathered many storms, and she continues to weather the storm. And now she wants to be the top, she's vying for the top job in the People's National Party. Yes, Lisa, you're back with us.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Call drop. No worry about it. Yes, such is Jamaica. Right. So we're talking about the clip because I wanted to hear from your voice, viva voce, because many persons went away with a particular impression and a particular coloring that was not so flattering in your regard.
Well, I think I've dealt with it, so we can probably move on.
Very well. No, I just wanted to say, I just want to make yes, so I just wanted the clarity because as you know.
I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to clarify it.
Very well. So you're not the opportunistic, self-serving person. You are talking to the delegates and you are going to them, speaking about your life and your growth and your development.
Yeah, absolutely. I even spoke about my custody issues.
Wow.
And my custody battles in that. And it was a very, very closed, intimate of things that I spoke about for the first time, that I've never done so publicly. And people left that meeting asking me questions even about my personal life that I have never spoken about in any forum.
What do you want your legacy to be?
I'd like my legacy to be a Jamaican patriot that fought hard in the best interest of her country, putting country above self and putting people above her own needs. That is what I'd like. And I'd like every young person to see that regardless of where they come from, regardless of how they look, they can balance and they can have the courage to go into very tough professions and still maintain their own sense of identity, their own sense of style, their own sense of achievement. Yes. And not worry about what others will say about them, but just do the work to improve other people's lives.
And in terms of your plans for the people of the PNP and by extension Jamaica, what are some of the plans that you have afoot for moving forward?
Well, I'm going to be unveiling those, as a matter of fact, very, very shortly.
Yes.
And I will announce those on my social media pages and publicly.
Very well. Can you give us one of them, though? I'm sure you have many. Tell me one.
I do. Certainly for the party, it's modernizing our secretariat. It's making sure that women as well, we keep the gender parity, and it's making sure that more women move up through the ranks to leadership. It's also making sure we strengthen our groups and our group structures and making sure that the welfare of our workers and the training of our workers are upgraded. So there are a number of things, and certainly for the country, it's making sure that we take education and to a different level, because that is our most immediate need, and to hold the government accountable for ensuring that the masses of our people, that their lives and livelihoods are improved.
Yes.
So those are general ways of saying it. I mean, I could get more specific, but those documents will be released, and I've spent quite a bit of time working on my thoughts, my policies over time, just from my experience as an MP, as a minister, and just walking the streets and being with the people in Jamaica all my life.
What's the biggest misconception about Lisa Hanna? And is there any misconception or lie or any kind of misrepresentation that you'd like to correct on Miss Kitty Live now?
That is something that I think the biggest misconception is that I guess I'm just all warrior and have no feelings. And people need to understand that people who serve in the public also have and deal with their own struggles. And even though I'm an iron fist in a silk glove, I go through life in the baptisms of fire just like everyone else. I take the time, I introspect. I ask myself if I could have done that differently. I hurt just like others. There are things that I wish I had done differently earlier in my life. Mm-hmm. Yes, I do have regrets.
Yes. What's your biggest regret?
Those. One day I'll speak about that.
Lisa, no time like the present. Remember, a COVID time now. Anything is a 2020. I have to seize the moment. Carpe diem.
No, I'm not ready to talk about that one day.
Okay.
That one that hurt so much.
What about those who say you're elitist, those who say that you're condescending, those who say you're a bully, those who say you're rich and you love guan too much and you talk down to people and you're hard for get on with them, talk the things them about you. Is there any truth to that?
Boy,
yes,
I think women get a really tough time. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you've had the same kind of experiences with women who, and others who just look at her as a progressive woman because the men don't get the same kinds of attacks. But it's not a gender thing for me because I think all people, depending on where they are. But I come from, my father was a farmer in St. Mary. My mother was a hairdresser in St. Anne. So I grew up in a very rural setting, and I've never seen myself as above anybody. Mm-hmm. And I'm a servant leader. So sometimes people look at your external image and make their own projections and perceptions of what they think you ought to be without getting to know you. And I think anybody who follows me or who knows me or who has grown up with me from enter the dojo, come right to this place, will know that, we've been watching this girl all her life. And there's nothing about her that's condescending. Am I a leader who is a tough girl that leads with discipline and leads with courage and compassion? Yes. Am I an easy walkover? No. And I'm not going to just accept something because you say it. I'm going to challenge it.
Absolutely.
So if you, and I certainly am not going to allow you to talk down to anyone who is in my space, no matter their color, class, or creed. And I'm a strong woman. And sometimes that irritates people.
Very well. If you're chosen as the next president of the People's National Party, and if you successfully contest the next general election, you would be Jamaica's second female prime minister. Why should the delegates vote for Lisa Rene Hanna and not Mark Golding? And what would that historic achievement mean to you?
Well, you should vote for me because you believe that I can do the job. You should vote for me because I will be the person who will stand on the front line and lead the People's National Party back to Jamaica House as your president and as the opposition leader. And I am the person that will give Jamaica its best opportunities, not only locally, but internationally, so that our passport will move from a point where people don't want to have to leave this country or go and stand up at any other embassy, but will want to work here to improve their lives, and that we give them the kind of opportunities and path to give them direction and opportunity. That is why you should vote for me.
Very well. Thank you so very much. Lisa Hanna,
Thanks
Member
for
of
having
Parliament for Southeast St. Anne and People's National Party presidential aspirant. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing with us. Thank you for being candid. And I wish you all the best and do travel safely.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Bye,
Respect.
guys, now. Bye.
Take care. Bye, guys. Bye-bye. Take care. Lisa Hanna right here on Miss Kitty Live on Nationwide 90 FM.